Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand. Wax on, wax off.
He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is the Filmjoe Podcast, where film talk happens. Hi, I'm Joe,
I'm Daisy.
And I'm Liss.
and welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. So here we are. You're at the table. The dealer shuffles the deck. The tension rises as the dealer's eyes are glued to yours. That's right, folks. It's Dealer's Choice episode tonight. So here's your dealer, Liss. Yay!
Thank you. Shuffle.
There you go. All righty. Get a couple of good ones here for us, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. So Liz, go ahead and start shuffling. All right. And she's shuffling. Okay. Here's the first card. And there's the second card. Oh, these are good. All right. So what do we have here? We have Matilda from 1996 and Mermaids from 1990. All right. Two very interesting picks. So Liz, why did you pick these two?
I love these movies. Why did I pick them? I'm so on the spot. I don't know. I just think childhood, and these make me think of childhood, like happy childhood, fun movies.
Okay, childhood I get. Happy? I don't know. It's
How
kind
does
of
that not happy?
a little dark, but we'll get into that.
But
So
that's part of your childhood. Darkness. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And you know what? They both deal with a lot of interesting subject matter. But yeah, I have to say, first of all, I've not seen either one of these two films, and I was kind of hesitant to watch these two. But I was very much surprised. I thought Liz was gonna pull another Drop Dead Fred on us. So
Hey.
Nah, these movies were really cool.
all righty. So, but before we continue, folks, please beware. We're going to have spoilers for both of these two films. So if you haven't seen them, you may want to pause this, grab a bucket of popcorn, watch the movies, come back, turn on the podcast again, and go from there. Or you can just enter at your own risk. All right?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Risky.
Yeah. All righty, folks. So check this out. This here is our 2-year anniversary of the Filmjoe Podcast.
What?
Yes, it's incredible. It's amazing. It really doesn't feel like 2 years. It really doesn't. But listen to the first 2 episodes. You go, yeah, there's 2 years right there. You can tell the difference overall. But it's been a great 2 years, and I have a lot of folks to thank for it. You guys, Liz, thank you so much. You've been very supportive from day one, and thank you so much. Daisy jumping on and becoming a really awesome part of the podcast.
Thank you.
And definitely, and you know what, to all the listeners who have supported us, all 12 listeners, thank you so much for supporting the podcast.
We appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Exactly. 12, 100, 1,000, it's all relative,
Yeah.
And, we do this for you guys, and we enjoy and we love doing this. It's been a blast, and, hopefully, another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Who knows? I'll probably be geriatric and barely able to talk, and I'll still be doing the podcast.
Hell yeah.
All righty. So there's been some tension this past week between a couple of the hosts of this show.
Well-deserved tension, yes.
Now, as you've all heard, I know most of you may have heard the review I did for Wicked. As I said last week, I promised that I would watch it and give it a fair shake. And I did. I was not crazy about the film.
What did you not like about it, Joe?
Okay, look, we only have about an hour, so I don't know if I have enough time. No, I'm kidding.
Dang.
Okay, it was not a bad film. It was not a horrific film. I tell you this, watching Barbie pissed me off. And it was
That just sounds so stupid. Barbie pissed you off.
Barbie pissed me the fuck off. Oh, and your cute little pinkness. No, I did not. And it was offensive. I didn't care much for it. This one did not piss me off. So there's a plus. There's the first plus. What I didn't care much for, I mean, like in the review, if you've heard it, I do point out. You should have seen the angry faces I got DM'd with, you know? Like angry face.
Gee, I wonder who those angry faces came from.
Oh, so okay. The qualms that I had. I mean, first of all, what's her name? Cynthia Erivo. Erivo. She was really good. She owned the role. She did an amazing job. You know, it was heartfelt. It was nuanced. And I really dug her performance. But to me, the movie didn't hit real legitimacy until Jeff Goldblum came on, and he's fantastic. Did a great job. And the sequence where she becomes the Wicked Witch and she flies out in all her grandeur was fucking epic. It was beautifully done. I was like, wow, okay, I'm looking at my watch and I'm clocked in already at past 2 hours and 30 minutes. And I'm like, why couldn't the rest of the film have been this epic?
Because it's telling their backstories.
Oh God, no!
You were the first person to talk about character arcs and challenges and all this stuff.
Okay, granted, I'll give you that. The problem that I had to lead up to that was that, and I know exactly what you're going to say, Liss. Okay, I know, but I'm going to say this anyway. There's the musical numbers. It's too many. They're all crunched in.
It's based on a play.
I know, it's a musical, right? But to me, it seemed like the music and the numbers seem to hinder the progression of the characters and their story arc or their development. And it's like, okay, this is interesting. Oh, la. Shut the fuck up. Tell me the story. I don't want to fucking hear.
I was like, more. Keep coming.
No. And then it's like, okay, the music and the numbers, they weren't bad, but they weren't memorable. They were kind of flat.
What?
They
Are you kidding
were.
me? Dancing Through Life? That whole library scene you hated? Jonathan Bailey?
Horrible.
He was amazing.
It was way too much. And again, it's a musical. Okay, let's take, for example, La La Land or Grease.
I hated that. Yeah. I hated La La Land.
La La Land was a masterpiece. Now, that was a masterpiece.
Trash.
No.
That was on the Filmjoe scale dog shit.
Oh my God. Oh, ouch.
Okay. Ooh, sparks are flying. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I mean, I like musical numbers. I like when they move the story. You know, you got two aspects to a musical. You got the musical numbers and them singing, their soul away, right? That's fine. But you also have to ground it in some sort of normalcy or reality when they're not singing and telling you the story. And it was kind of like number, little talk, more number. And that was for the most of the first two acts of the film. And it was kind of crammed together. I would have liked to have seen less. As far as the directing by, who was it? John Chu.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was way too amazing because it was over the top and too much. He would either go completely flamboyant and over the top, or he would just be flat and soulless. And I didn't like his directing on this. It was uneven, and the film didn't know what it wanted to be. Was it a satire? Was it a parody? Was it an homage? Was it a sequel? Or a prequel? It didn't know what it wanted to be. There were times where it was trying to be fan fiction prequel, and it took itself seriously. But then you got Ariana Grande Great singer, beautiful voice, angelic look, horrible actress. She was bad.
What?
No. You know when she was a good actress? When she was singing. That was it.
Oh, she was so good. She played Glinda perfectly. Like, Glinda's supposed to be so conceited, over the top, like obnoxious, and just so full of herself.
Glinda?
It's Galinda.
I'm talking post her doing her wonderful act.
Okay. And also,
wasn't she supposed to be like the nice one? I didn't see the movie, so I.
Okay, let me break it down.
I'm basing this off of like the Wizard of Oz, like with Judy.
Right.
This one kind of
here's what
paints it as
happens,
reverse, like nice is good and good is bad, and they kind of tell you why.
Right. But here's the thing. Which I think is a massive disservice to the 1939 actual masterpiece and classic, because you have good is good, right? Which is Glinda, the good witch. She's angelic, she's sweet, she's beautiful, she's the epitome of goodness, right? Now you have the wicked witch of the West. She is bad, she is evil. She is pretty much the template for villains to come decades and decades later, all right? Dorothy, she is the innocence and childhood goodness, or the childlike goodness and innocence that prevails over evil. And then you have the wizard himself, kind of a con artist and pretends to be magical, but his real magic is his wisdom, right?
Right.
Okay, so here, the Wizard of Oz is a villain, and he's a dick, and he is a con artist, and he doesn't know shit. Dorothy, inadvertently, basically, she's a murderer. The Good Witch, she's a shallow, dumb, idiot broad who doesn't give a shit about anybody but herself. And the Wicked Witch, well, she was framed that she's actually a victim. That's where it turns everything around.
God.
But even in the old one, you're going to say that Glinda wasn't a villain when she made Dorothy go through all that and kill the Wicked Witch of the... This is spoiler alert, so skip forward if anyone doesn't want to hear this part about Wicked. But if you remember the girl in the chair, Nessa Rose, she becomes the Wicked Witch of the East. And she's the one that the house falls on. So I'm saying, in The Wizard of Oz, she made her go through all that and basically kill her sister. I mean, kill her Elphaba's sister, when she could have just told her, click your heels and go home.
No,
like she made her do her dirty work.
No, she had to learn something in the process. She lost sight of what home was, what family was. And, you know, you got the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. They were metaphors for family that she took for granted. Okay.
Wasn't all this shit in her head, though?
Yes or no. That's where that's the beauty of the film is it has it's up to you to figure out. It can be this or that. It's along the line of Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Was it in her head or was it and it's could it be either way? Either way, you get a great story out of it. So she had to go through all that in order to learn her lesson. That way you can tell somebody, hey, home is important. Family is important. That's what you need to focus on. But they're not going to learn that until they go through these hard lessons. And that's the gist of The Wizard of Oz. This turns it into, I don't know what it is.
This takes their journey, like the people that are inside of Oz. Because, again, spoiler alert, skip if you don't want to hear this. But like Fiero becomes the Scarecrow, Bach becomes the Tin Man, and the little cub becomes the Cowardly Lion. And she changes them into that to save their lives.
No, I'm sorry. I'm putting away my checkbook because I'm not buying it.
Like it's a whole nother story. It's not involving Dorothy. They did a little homage to her walking down the yellow brick road, but that was it.
They even did the same title look, Wicked, the same lettering as the original. And I'm thinking, that's kind of cool. And you see from a distance, the four of them walking away, the Scarecrow and the lion and all. And I thought that was nice. I'm like, okay, this could be pretty good. Keep in mind, I went in with an open mind trying to give it a shot. This movie basically, it took The Wizard of Oz, it put it on the floor, it copped a squat over it, and took a major dump on it. That's how I
took a major dog shit on it.
A major dog shit on The Wizard of Oz. I understand fan fiction and I get it, but to me, The Wizard of Oz is the epitome of one of the greatest fantasy adventure films ever made that actually had something important to teach us, something profound and so basic and something that we overlook in life every time. And I think that it kind of like took all of that, threw it out the window, made a joke of it. And it's not a movie to be joked about as a film. If you are, if you're a cinephile, it's a serious film. It's a beautiful film. And to me, Wicked was kind of just disrespectful. Maybe I'm just being a grumpy old man sitting on his porch yelling at the kids, get the fuck off my grass. You guys don't know what it was like when my day and stuff like that, right? But you know what? It is what it is. The Wizard of Oz, great film, Wicked. I gave it its merits. It was ambitious. I could have given it a 2 or a 1, but I was fair. It had its merits. Good performances, cinematography. When it wasn't CGI, it was beautiful. So yeah, I mean, that's where I stand on it.
I think this is going to be a agree to disagree situation.
You know what? That's perfectly fine. You know what? And I'm glad you loved it. To me, the Wicked is like the ugly little baby that nobody loves. Somebody has to love it. And guess what? You love this ugly baby.
You see my sweatshirt? I took a picture and showed it to you. Nice Wicked sweatshirt. Yeah. I should have wore that tonight.
Oh my God. But I do appreciate for what it is. It's not a superhero movie. It's not a Marvel movie, which we're so fucking tired of. And you know what?
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm changing the subject here. Daredevil.
Daredevil looks good. Yeah, actually, that does look pretty good. And maybe there's some life there. But, I'm tired of the superhero film. And you know what? What did Wicked do? It put, people in the seats in theaters, and it was an event, and people went ape shit over it. And you know what? I'm glad. That's same thing with Barbie. Although Barbie was total dog shit, it was a film that brought people together. It brought them to the cinema. People were going, well, I'm going to wait till it streams. They wanted to see it on the big screen and have that communal experience. And for that, I thank movies like Barbie and Wicked, just not my cup of tea. Fair enough?
All right. It's going to bring a bunch of different people if they continue this with like plays and stuff and putting them on the screen. Like, look at what Hamilton did on Disney Plus. Imagine if that went on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
The theaters would have been packed.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, we need to see, actual diversity in storytelling and subject matter and genres back on the big screen. And I think it's fantastic. I mean, that's what I just wish. I really would have liked to see Wicked continue its box office run, because they took it out a little too soon. But that could be wow. Yeah, it's already available for streaming. With somebody already bought a copy of it. I'm not.
Well, they did that. So they did the regular screenings, and then a lot of theaters did the sing-along screenings for the people that want to sing along.
Oh, God. Oh, you know what? I'm not trying to shit on the movie. I'm just not. I haven't seen it. I'm sorry. I don't care for musicals too much, especially when you have a fucking theater full of everybody singing along. It's corny.
I'm in my element.
All right. Well, also I went to see a couple of really good films. Also, I went to go see Nosferatu, the Robert Eggers film. He did Witches. He did The Witches. He did The Lighthouse and The Northman. Oh my God, this movie is a friggin' masterpiece. It is beautifully dark. It is gothic, and it subverts your expectations. It's incredible. I just did the flash review for that as well, and just loved it. It was a work of art. I mean,
so Billy Skarsgård was redeemed with this movie,
big time, and I didn't even know it was him. Well, I knew it was him, but I didn't recognize him. The design, when you guys see it, you'll be like, "Whoa, that's the vampire." It's weird. It's trippy. It's beautifully done. And Lily Rose Depp?
Depp, yeah.
That's, she's got her father's genes, because she is an amazing actress, and she was fantastic in it.
Oh, that is so cool. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. And the Wolfman, which was really cool. That was a lot of fun, too.
Okay,
so,
nice.
Yeah, I highly recommend those two. You guys get a chance to see them. And now, bit onto some sad news. We just lost a legend, Bob Uecker. Yes, he was in Major League One. Major League 2. He Mr. Belvedere.
I loved him in Mr. Belvedere.
Okay, I know
yeah, and he,
yeah,
and he did all those really hilarious Miller Draft commercials, Miller Lite. He was actually a professional baseball player. He played with the Braves.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he played with the Cardinals, the Phillies, and he was never a great baseball player. But he used that as the gist of his comedy, and he was just amazing, really great to watch. So that was pretty sad, and we'll definitely miss him. And legendary director David Lynch, the creator of Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway. He also passed away as well. He was 90, I believe.
Oh wow. Led a full life. That's cool.
Oh no, my bad. No, he was like 78.
That sucks.
Well, damn.
I'm sorry. I mean, when I hear 90s, when I hear, he lived all the way to the 90s, I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Good for him. But in the 70s, I'm like, damn, he still has some time left. I'm such a blonde. Oh, God, why are we laughing about this? I feel so horrible.
This is supposed to be the somber part of the podcast here, okay? Oh, my God. But, we're going to cover Blue Velvet next season. And if you guys haven't seen it, you're in for a strange experience. Amazing film.
I remember watching Twin Peaks and I loved it.
Yeah. And I've Mulholland Drive, I enjoyed. Lost Highway, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but it was still amazing. Oh, wow. He was just a unique voice in cinema and just a true artist. And it's a big loss for Hollywood. And just amazing. So yeah, I mean, that was somber to a point.
Sorry.
It's like, 7, 8. Damn, that sucks. All right. So what do you guys say we jump into this week's episode?
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. All righty. So it's time to dive into Dealer's Choice. So for this first film, this is Our Mother. Pray for us.
Why did you think you were pregnant? You're still a virgin.
Trust me, I know about these things.
She's doing this because she has a problem, and she's probably too frightened to talk to you about.
Why would she be frightened?
Like mother, like daughter.
Maybe your life works for you, but it doesn't work for me, and I want to stay!
And do what?
Finish high school!
Great start! What's your major, town tramp?
No, Mom, the town already has one.
Share.
I don't always know what I'm doing. It's not like you and your sister came with a book of instructions.
Bob Hoskins.
You're a hell of a woman, Rachel.
I know.
Winona Ryder.
Mary O'Brien, she dances around naked, screaming about her boyfriend's quivering loins. Shut up, Charlotte. Shut up.
Mermaids.
I can do my mermaid watch. It's time for me to get into my mermaid car and hit the mermaid road.
And get the mermaid out of here.
All right. Hopefully I'll be fresh for the party.
An unconventional single mother relocates with her 2 daughters to a small Massachusetts town in 1963, where a number of events and relationships both challenge and strengthen their family bonds. The film we are talking about is Mermaids from 1990, and it is directed by Richard Benjamin, who gave us such films as Racing with the Moon and My Favorite Year. The film stars Cher, Bob Hoskins, Winona Ryder, and Christina Ricci. All right, so for this film, we're going to be rating this on the Filmjoe scale, 1 to 10 star-shaped sandwiches.
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay.
All right. And because here's the scene with the starship, so that's like, pretty clever. Thank you.
Yeah.
He'll pat himself on the back. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so a little production backstory on this. The producers, they initially engaged Swedish director Lasse Hallström, who directed a movie called The Boy and His Dog. He's a very good director, but he left the project early on to direct a film called Once Around in 1991. So they hired Frank Oz, who was the voice of Yoda and Fozzie Bear, as a replacement director, but he also abandoned the project after he clashed with Cher and Winona Ryder. Ultimately, they hired Richard Benjamin to do the project. Producer Patrick Palmer, he talked about how both Hallstrom and Oz, they envisioned kind of a darker tone for the film at one point, whereas like Hallstrom's, his version included Charlotte committing suicide.
Oh.
So, yeah, he wanted to go really dark. And as we go into the film later in a little bit, you can see why that might have been the direction he wanted to go with. Principal photography for Mermaids began September 25th, 1989 in Massachusetts, and completed production on December 15th of that same year. So Emily Lloyd, actress, she was originally cast as Charlotte, which is was played by Winona Ryder, and she began to shoot her scenes with Cher when she started to complain that, well, she didn't look enough like her, like Cher herself to play her daughter. She was kind of blondish,
right?
So they got rid of her, and she ended up suing Orion Pictures for breach of contract, and she received about $175,000 for damages. Yeah, reaching that settlement. And the film was finally released on December 14th, 1990. Okay, so Liss, you chose these films, so give us your takes on Mermaids.
I totally love the movie. Like, my mother was a free spirit when I was growing up, so I related it to it, and I love that it was in Massachusetts, even though it was a fake town. And it was just, it was about a teenage girl finding herself. She had a crazy mother, and she was more of the mother than, she was the mother to her mother, basically. And the acting from Winona Ryder, Christina Ricci, Cher. Are you kidding me with that body, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, she makes everybody feel bad about themselves. It was just, it was so good. And she was just trying to find her way, some normalcy as her in a chaotic world with her mother. I don't know. I loved it.
I thought it was cool. It was a good coming of age movie. I thought it was really cute. Was I the only one who had a crush on Jake? And I say Jake from,
cute.
Oh my God, he was so cute. I don't know if I forgot his name in the movie, but he was so freaking cute.
Yeah, well, I can't comment on that.
Oh,
but
come on.
You know what? I have to. The cast was stellar. Cher, I've always been a big fan of Cher, especially in the 80s. She came out with some bangers. She did a film called Silkwood, Suspect,
Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah, Witches of Eastwick, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean.
Moonstruck.
Moonstruck.
Nicolas Cage. Oh, was that Moonstruck? Yeah.
Amazing, and just an amazing actress. And she, and of course Christina Ricci. She was only 10 years old or something.
That was actually her first movie.
Yeah, she was amazing. Winona Ryder was great. Bob Hoskins, wow. Although initially Bob Hoskins kind of didn't fit in the movie with his performance, but I think he kind of ended up, I don't know, he kind of blended in really well towards the middle. But I mean, the gist of the story is, you got a single mom and then two daughters, and she, like you say, she's a free-spirited woman and still holding on to whatever sexuality or womanhood that she still has. She's more woman. She's struggling to be more woman than mother.
Right.
But it's complex. I mean, I didn't exactly agree with her, the disposition of her character and how she approached being a mother, but it's life. Life is fucking complicated, and the film does explore these complexities.
There's a line that she says that I'll never forget, that I relate to as a mom, is how something along the lines of, how her kids didn't come with instruction manuals.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. And that is so true. It's something that we learn on the way.
Yeah. I had a lot of deep. My favorite Cher line in this was when she sees Charlotte doing her Catholic prayer. She just walks by. She goes, "Charlotte, we're Jewish." I mean, just really great. But I had a problem with this. Okay. Charlotte, she's 15 years old.
Right.
And this dude, I don't care how fucking cute he is. He's 26 years old.
Oh, wait, how old is? Ooh, yeah. That's something I really didn't think about when I was younger. I mean,
me either.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, she has a crush on this really cute guy, and she's really naive. She thinks she could get pregnant just by kissing the boy, which was freaking hilarious.
Right.
But yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that until wow.
Yeah. And, what I found disturbing was that her mom didn't actually discourage her from having sex with this older man. She's like, oh yeah, she kind of encourages it, which is kind of cringy, if you really think about it. I mean, again, you got to understand, I think maybe if you try to understand the character more, it works, but it doesn't make her any better of a person as a character.
And it's kind of funny that she was kind of dressed up looking like her mom.
Right.
Does this.
Yeah. And, and also the fact that she uses men, but in reality, it was her own lack of good judgment for choosing a good man. And that she tended to just bundle all men up in the same category as losers and so forth. When in reality, it's a reflection of her own inability to make the right choices in men.
Yeah, I think she doesn't want to trust anybody. She's like afraid of stability, and I think that Charlotte, that's all she craves is stability. She tries to not be like her mother as much as she can, but then she slips and she acts a little bit like her mother, and that's when she screws up.
Yeah, and the little sister almost drowns in the process.
Which was heartbreaking because, it's obvious, Charlotte is hurting, she wants the comfort of her mother, and that look that she gives her, when they're in the hospital. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sad.
And then you see how she really, both her and her little sister really cling to Bob Hoskins. He gives them a family. He gives them a home, a sense of stability and normalcy that, both children really crave and need. And you see Mrs. Flax, played by Cher, how she's kind of like, no, what the fuck is this? This is not us, but it's not that it's not them. Is that she's more afraid to cling to something like that can easily go away and disappear, like with her husband before, the father of her children. So, and that's one thing I really, by the end of the film, I mean, I was pissed off at Cher's character throughout the whole film. I'm like, this bitch, what a fucked up mother. But you see, it's not so black and white. There's a lot of gray areas here. And it's not you're not sitting there giving excuses, but you understand the complexities involved. And that's where this film is pretty complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one thing, I was waiting for Cher's character arc to really come around and realize the errors of her ways, become a better mother, which eventually does come, but at the end of the film. And you don't see that gradual progression, I think, or development. And it seemed almost truncated and, okay, let's just get to that point,
It didn't have that development like Wicked did. Yes, I agree with you. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
She ain't dropping it.
Sorry, continue.
Okay. Okay. Now, or like the scene where Mrs. Flax, she gets a ride. Joe was his name. He gives her a ride home, and she starts making out with him, and her daughter catches him over. And of course, the daughter has a crush on Joe, and this is crush. Dude, that would put most people into serious therapy. And that's where I think where Hallstrom, the director, initially attached to it, he geared towards Charlotte committing suicide. And you can see where those complexities come into play. And, it's a dark fucking, it's really dark at the core. And I love the final confrontation, mother-daughter. When they have that shouting match, the two of them, that's where I go, wow, Winona Ryder became an actress in that sequence. I mean, when she's like, you want to be known as a town tramp, and Winona Ryder snaps back at her, the town already has one.
Yes, I'm like, damn.
Oh,
that was good.
Yeah, you ever see the meme of the great little gray cat that covers his mouth and goes, "Oh," that was me. I'm like, damn. But yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, it was complex and it had a lot of interesting themes and sub themes in it, which was it was a very interesting film overall. Not one of my favorites, but I got to give it for what it is. You have excellent performances all around.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Alrighty, so let's get into the budget and the box office on this. So the budget at the time of production was about $20 million, which is about $48.2 million in today's dollars. Box office at the time was 35.4, which is about 85.4 million. So it wasn't exactly a big splash at the box office. It was received okay. So in reviews and scores, it received mixed to average reviews. Yeah. So Roger Ebert, our good buddy, he gave this film 3 out of 4 stars. Yeah, he said Mermaids is not exactly good, but it's not boring. Winona Ryder, in another one of her alienated outsider roles, generates real charisma, and what the movie is saying about Cher is as elusive and intriguing. Spot on. I have to. It's a very fascinating character study on many levels. So, audiences surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film a B from A to F. IMDb sitting at a 6.7. Metascore 56. Rotten Tomatoes critic score 71 with an audience score of 70. And Letterboxd has this sitting at 3.6 stars out of 5. So there was no remakes, spin-off sequels from this. So, all right, Liz, you chose these films, so you go first.
It was there were a few parts, I'm not going to lie, that were a little bit cringy watching back. I remember it being a little bit better than this, but overall, I love Winona Ryder and everything she does. I don't think there's been a film she's put out, except for the one that you had me watch, that I didn't like her in.
Oh, Reality Bites, yeah. Okay.
Even she was good in it. I just didn't like the movie.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, it has its audience. You know what I mean? It's like teenage girls dealing with sexuality, growing up, finding their identity. And it is a complex movie. I'd say like a 7, and that's a pretty low rating for me. I think it's that low because it was in a fake town in Massachusetts. They didn't put the effort in for the Massachusetts accents. If they had those, it probably would have been like a 10.
Okay, all right. So 7 out of 10 star-shaped sandwiches. Now, for those of you who are wondering why star-shaped, is because Winona Ryder is going to go on a quote-unquote date with Joe, and she's making him really good sandwiches. And here comes Cher right later, and she sees the sandwiches, and she has star-shaped cookie cutters, and she makes star-shaped sandwiches, and that pisses off Winona Ryder.
You wasted all that fucking bread.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a cute scene. I thought it was a little cute touch.
I want the fucking sandwich, man. Fucking stars.
Yeah, I forgot about all of her appetizer skills. That's all she cooks. That was so funny.
Right. No. All right, Daisy. Your score.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cute movie. Really awesome. I'm gonna give it 7.5 sandwiches.
Okay, cool. I liked it, but I wasn't crazy about it. The performances from Hoskins, Cher, Richie, and Ryder, great cast, great performances. It was very touching and was very interesting. Again, not one of my favorites, so I'll give this 7 out of 10 star-shaped sandwiches.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're all in the same neighborhood, right?
Yeah. It left us all with the feels,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So what do you say we move on to our next film?
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world.
Once upon a time, there was a girl named Matilda
Hi, Dad.
Get in the car, Melinda.
Matilda!
Whatever.
who was extraordinary in every way.
Pretty soon you'll be able to do any multiplication, whether it's 2 times 7 or 13 times 379.
4,927.
Wow. She can multiply large sums in her head. So can a calculator.
But in a world where grown-ups make all the rules,
I'm smart. You're dumb.
I'm big and you're small.
I'm right.
And you're wrong.
in a school where the principal
In this school, I am God.
has no principles,
Yes, Miss Trunchbull. Sir. The Trunchbull used to be in the Olympics. Shot put, javelin, hammer throw.
she will discover
Somebody's gotta teach her a lesson.
deep inside herself
You should believe in whatever power you think you have inside of you.
a secret weapon
A girl gifted with a keen intellect and psychic powers uses both to get even with her callous family and free her kindly school teacher from the tyrannical grip of a sadistic head mistress. The film we're talking about here is Matilda from 1996, and it is directed by none other than Danny DeVito. The film stars Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, and Mara Wilson. All right, so for this film, we're going to go on ahead and rate this on the Filmjoe scale, 1 to 10 chocolate cakes.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
All right. So, backstory. In November of 1983, Universal Pictures, they won the bidding war for the screen adaptation of Roald Dahl's Matilda, who also gave us Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Big Friendly Giant, James and the Giant Peach. Following the heated bidding war between Universal and Columbia Pictures, Danny DeVito, of course, this went to Universal. And so Danny DeVito got into a big argument with the Bregman Burr Productions over the budgetary concerns. So they went on ahead and put this on turnaround. And Columbia went on ahead and took the picture, and they distributed it through TriStar Pictures, which is their subsidiary. Susie Wilson, Mara Wilson's mother, was diagnosed with breast cancer in March of 95. And so during the filming, she passed away on April 27th, 1996.
Oh my God, how sad.
Yeah, it was 4 months before the film got released. And the film was dedicated to her memory. Danny DeVito revealed later on that prior to her death, he had shown her the final cut of the film so that she was able to see Mara's performance before she passed on.
Oh my God, how sad. Oh.
Yeah, so the film was finally released on August 2nd, 1996. All right, so here's another one. This one was very interesting. Liz, tell us why you chose this one. This is an interesting one. What were your takes?
Just to start, Roald Dahl was one of my favorite childhood authors, only second to Shel Silverstein. But the way that they actually put on screen the feelings in the book, it was fantastic. I mean, Danny DeVito narrating, like, what? The tackiness of the house, the clothes, and Mara Wilson, like you said, going through that tragedy in real life, and Danny DeVito, the sleazeball on screen, and Rhea Perlman, like the non-mother, knowing that they're actually such sweet people behind the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just... And the real life tyrannical, what was her name? Mrs. Trunchbull. She was so good. And the Bruce scene. And I'm not a chocolate person at all, but I would destroy that cake. Doesn't that look good? God. Imagine if it was Tres Leches in the cookie made that. Oh my gosh, I'd die. I'm sorry, go ahead. I love the movie though, 100% for me.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't eat. I was actually eating dinner during that sequence with the cake, which was a great sequence, but it was very uncomfortable. I had to look away. It was kind of gross, but it was neat. First of all, let's start with Mara Wilson. You talk about complete sweetness and adorableness. She was amazing, with a family full of assholes. She
was also in Mrs. Doubtfire.
That's right. Yeah.
Natalie, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just an amazing little actress. She did an amazing job. I mean, to me, the film was cartoony. Even had Paul Rubens, who,
yes.
Pee Wee Herman was there.
I love me some Pee Wee.
Oh, man. And it was great. It was very silly, cartoony, it had a cartoony tone to it, but it wasn't annoying. I mean, it actually felt like a kid's book.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Yeah.
I mean who wouldn't want those powers, as a child? I mean, that's every kid's dream.
Right. But this is, it's a trip because it's a kid's film and it's very fucking dark. I mean, she goes full Carrie in this film. It's like, oh, you want to watch Carrie's backstory? Watch Matilda. This is her when she was a little girl. Oh my gosh. And the dark stuff. I mean, there's, you get kids thrown out of a window. You got the pigtail hair toss where the little girl gets.
That shit was freaking hilarious.
Oh my God. And I'm watching, she's going flying through the air. She's going towards a wrought iron gate with spikes on top of it. And I'm thinking, this is a fucking kids movie. Holy shit! I mean, the one thing that I did have not an issue, but I wish there was more of her little friends, Lavender and Amanda, and I forgot the other little girl's name. They were really cute.
They were adorable.
Yeah, I wish they had done a little bit more with them, but overall, I mean, there is a lot of child cruelty in this movie. I mean,
oh yeah, a whole lot.
I mean, there's a scene where some kid is forced to eat an entire chocolate cake by himself. That's the size of a fucking Volkswagen, okay?
Oh, God.
Poor
I mean, it
Bruce.
looked good, but oh, God.
Oh, man.
What do you think about the cook when she was delivering it?
Oh, God, no.
Wiping her snots right on her
That
hand.
is so gross.
I mean, but you know what? At the core, the film has a lot of interesting sub-themes. It's talking about the value of knowledge and education, the importance of a mentor and a good teacher, importance of family and relationships and what family is, and that family is more than just genetics, the power of fighting injustice, standing up to bullies. There's a lot of things there that children go through. And I think Roald Dahl, he understood these things very, very, very well. To me, it was like I said, it was very dark, but it was also very exaggerated. But I realized, and this is where I get it. Okay, we're going to go into the budget and box office in a little bit, and you'll see why it underperformed. And I have a belief why. It was marketed as a kids movie, and it's very dark, and it deals with a lot of heavy duty sub themes, child abuse and neglect and so forth. But it's not presented as such. It's a silly kind of fantasy comedy, but that's through her point of view. If a child is telling you the story, that if you wash this movie down and you make everybody normal, this is a fucked up, tragic, beautiful story.
Wow.
It really, really is. But I understand why they went, or DeVito went the route and really went, he adapted the book, the children's story, but it's not really, it's messed up. And like I said, this could have easily been rewritten to be a straightforward drama, and and with everything toned down. Like you got Mrs. Trunchbull.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, an abusive, angry, mean, authoritarian, fascist kind of principal. You can see where that could be a real person. It reminded me of, have any of you ever seen Tim Burton's Big Fish?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Big Fish, you've seen it, right, Liss?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically it's about, not to, digress too far, but, this guy goes back, it's his father, he passed away. And he's telling, a story that his father had told him in his whole life story. And, you got these exaggerated things that his father was telling him. And he's like, yeah, my father's full of shit. He said there was, this and that. And at the end, you get to meet all the characters in real life. And they were represented in an exaggerated sense in the movie, like conjoined twins. It was just regular twins.
I think I did see that movie.
Yeah. And I think that's what kind of like what this was going for. Without really telling us that that's what it was going for.
Right.
And so it's kind of like this was her interpretation of her parents, who were dirtbags. They were garbage.
Her coping mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. So, I got it. But I can see where a lot of people didn't get it. I mean, a lot of dark stuff, you got the Carrie stuff in there, the classroom with the ghost, quote unquote, that was very dark and very creepy. Really nice ending where her parents are like, okay, yeah, you can adopt our child and sign away. Okay, we're out of here. We're fugitives. And you can see where in real life they just like abandoned her and the teacher.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got that, but she was adopted by a beautiful, wonderful, the school teacher who becomes her mother. So it's heavy, but I can see where people didn't get it. This movie, how do you market a movie like this? Is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a fantasy? What the hell is it?
Right. Wow.
So,
that's a take on the movie I never even thought of. That was cool.
Yeah. And so in that sense, I got it. So let's get into the budget and the box office on this one. The budget at the time was about $36 million, which is about $72.3 million today. Box office, it only made about $33 million domestically and $47 million in Canada. So total global of about 80.5. So it underperformed. 80.5 is about $160 million today. I can see why it underperformed. It's hard to really market a film like this. But I thought it was great. Love Danny DeVito. I can't get enough of this guy. He narrates this film, but he's also the antagonist. And normally that would throw you off, right? You'd sit there and go, okay, I'm hearing the voice of the guy telling the story, really sweet, but he's also the bad guy. You're able to separate the two. You got the narrator. Yeah, you got the narrator, which we can call him a Roald Dahl, right? And he's telling the story with such sweetness, such kindness and such childlike sincerity.
Right.
And you believe that's the narrator. But then you got Mr. Wormwood, the dad, who's a complete dirtbag and piece of shit. But you're able to separate the two. And I thought that was an achievement.
That's being a good fucking actor.
An amazing actor and director. So,
oh, yeah, definitely.
I didn't know he directed it, too.
And of course, he has his wife in there, Rhea Perlman, who was fantastic. She was great as well.
She's awesome.
Yeah. So, I definitely enjoyed it. It surprisingly, I thought I was going to hate this one. I thought this was going to be...
Don't watch the musical that they made like last year or the year before. That one's bad.
Oh,
they made a musical out of this?
Yeah, it was playing at theaters, like, play theaters for a while. And then they put it, I think, on Netflix or Prime or something. But I didn't care for it.
Oh, it sounds horrible. Well, you can see where almost as bad as Wicked.
Shots fired. Okay.
But you know what? Kudos to what they were able to do with this. This could have easily have gone tits up big time. And I think DeVito was able to hold it together and do a really good job with this. So I enjoyed it. So let's get into some reviews and scores.
Okay.
It received mostly positive reviews. Audiences surveyed by CinemaScore, they gave the film a B+. Roger Ebert, he gave the film high praise, and he praised basically the oddity of the film. It's just an odd film, but very sweet. Gave it 3 out of 4 stars. IMDb 7.0, Metascore 72, Rotten Tomatoes critic score 92%. Wow. With an audience score of 73%, and Letterboxd 3.7 stars out of 5. So surprisingly, it was not too bad. It wasn't received that bad. But again, it goes back to the marketing of the film, how problematic it is to market something like this. Just like Mermaids. Mermaids was somewhere in that gray area. What is it? A family drama? Is it a comedy? Is it this? Is it that? And, right. I like films. I personally really enjoy films like that because they do challenge you to try to, choose a side. Think about it. You have to gestate films like this. So sequels and spinoffs, DeVito, who directed the film, of course, he expressed interest in developing a sequel. A couple of ideas included Matilda as a young adult visiting her parents and seeing what Trunchbull was up to, and then there was Matilda's child would be in another version of the sequel. Nothing ever came of either of the two. And I guess that's because of the lackluster box office. And it really wasn't as popular as it could have been. Netflix, they adapted it into an animated series, or they're about to, I believe, or they're talking about it. Which they also want to do Big Friendly Giant, The Twits, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What? They're doing The Twits?
Yes.
That was one of my favorite books.
Yeah. Oh, really? So it is in development, but unfortunately, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see some kind of sequel, some kind of follow-up. I mean, had it done better, I'm sure it would have. So, all righty. So let's go into our ratings and scores on this.
Okay.
Liss, you go first.
What was the rating scale again? I'm sorry. I forget.
Chocolate cakes.
Chocolate cakes.
Yes.
Slices or whole cakes?
What
You know what? No, I'm just kidding. I love this movie. It held up. It's fantastic. This young little precocious girl with the telekinetic powers that's ignored by her parents. Every kid feels this at some level in their life, probably not to this extreme and not with these powers, but like you said, wishing that they would have them. And I mean, it's Danny
Right.
DeVito.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not smile watching Danny DeVito? And like you said, a little Pee Wee Herman, and it makes the live action performance literally feel like a book. It felt like the book came to life. To me, it's a 10 in my group.
Oh wow!
Ooh, 10
Yeah.
chocolate cakes.
10 chocolate cakes.
Or is that sliced chocolate cakes?
If it's Tres Leches, then 10 cakes. But if it's 10 chocolate, then we'll go in slices.
Okay. All right. All right. Daisy, what you think?
It was a fun movie. I really liked it. I thought the little girl was adorable. Like Liz said, those were powers that I wish I had when I was growing up, especially growing up in the Jedi mentality as we did when we were kids. I'm like, yeah, I want to be just like that little girl. I'm gonna give it 8 chocolate cakes.
All right. Fair enough. I found it interesting. It was quirky, interesting kid story, but not really a kid story. I found it kind of dark, but I did get it. And I think that's where it really went past a lot of audiences, that they just didn't get it. And I understand, but I did. And for that, I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10 chocolate cakes.
Okay. Acceptable.
Acceptable. Pretty decent.
Yeah, that's kind of how he writes, though. Like, if you ever read James and the Giant Peach, he has those like terrible aunts, and then it's a common theme throughout in a lot of his books.
Oh wow!
He's just like a lot of like, you are tormented a lot, and you break through this way. And this way, it was with her powers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one thing I did get from Dahl, and I've seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and what was the other one? Willy Wonka, which are iterations of it. He's very, I don't know, just kind of heavy-handed and kind of dark, but it's all from the perspective of a child in a very dark way. And I think he gets kids. I really think he does. And which is obviously why he's one of the most celebrated children's story writers in history.
I feel like in those years too, in the 90s, like darker books kind of sold more. What was the? Do you remember those? Oh gosh, I can't even think of it. I can picture it was like a scary stories to tell in the dark, and like where the sidewalk ends. Goosebumps too. But I'm saying that like that darker genre seemed to emanate more with children in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
We were darker kids.
Right. I think so. Bunch of morbid little suckers. I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it did resonate kind of odd with me. Again, harking back, these two films that you chose, I was very skeptical of both of these films. And what I found was a couple of films that were very nuanced and they had a lot to say in a non-conventional kind of way. And, very interesting. Good choices, Liz. Good choices.
Thank you. That's what's cool about the show, because you have me watch a lot of movies that I would never watch in my entire life, and I'm sure I do the same to you.
Right.
That's cool though. That's why I love the show. We're pushed to watch movies that we're not normally going to watch on our own.
Right?
Pushing us out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's what to me film is a journey. It's an exploration. And that's why these past 2 years have been so special and so awesome, is that I get to talk and discover and explore film and share that with others, and get, Liss, your point of view, and Daisy's your point of view. We all have very different perspectives and relationships with films, and that's what we get to share with everybody, or our entire 12 listeners, which we love you. Which we love you guys. We really do. But again, that's what it's made these past 2 years so special and so amazing. And, we've had a lot of amazing guests, and we've grown in many ways as a podcast. And, I'm very proud of what we've accomplished and what we're doing.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. I look forward to this every single week.
Yes. It's always an adventure. And we also have our drama and our controversy, and
which I love. I love that though.
Yeah. I mean, Drop Dead Fred, garbage, Labyrinth, garbage, Wicked, not garbage, but not great.
Joe, this is supposed to be an upbeat show today, correct?
Yes, it's a celebration. Absolutely. All righty. So with that, what do you say we start winding this one down, guys?
Okie dokies.
Sure.
All righty. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for these last 2 years in supporting us and listening to us. And we really hope we've been able to bring something into your lives, and see film in a different way, give you guys something you never knew about, and so forth. So we're glad to have been a part of that, and we will continue to do so. So please help to support the podcast by giving us a nice 5-star rating, leave us a good review, or another way, subscribe and or follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget, you can catch Liss on her podcast, Ouch, Was That a Ghost?, on Patreon, Spotify, Amazon, and most platforms where you can get your creepy and weird podcast fix. Also, don't forget to check us out on Instagram. We got a lot of cool posts there. TikTok for now until it gets banned. YouTube, check us out on YouTube where we have most of our episodes available. All this stuff, you can find this on the Linktree link that we have below in the show notes. You can also contact us directly via email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. So with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Daisy.
And I'm Liss.
And this is the Filmjoe Podcast,
where film talk happens.